So today we're going to be reviewing the 2017 Aston Martin Rapide 6-month update. So it's been 6 months since we owned the Aston Martin Rapide S, and it's a bit of mixed feelings. First things first, car looks amazing, definitely gets the head turns and the eyeballs on it. Not saying that that's why we got it to be flashy or anything like that, but it definitely stands out in a crowd. As I said before, the design and the attention to detail is impeccable. The performance from the vehicle is really top notch. It's 500 plus horsepower in a V12. It's kind of hard not to enjoy it, well, unless you're in traffic all the time. But aside from that, you get on the gas, it goes, and it sounds amazing. It's really hard to beat that V12 sound, and Aston Martin has really made the sound of this exhaust sound really good. And as far as the practicality of the car, as far as storage and getting groceries, carrying things, it's not too bad. So actually a lot of space in the rear. Like I said, you can carry pretty much everything that you want. I mean, we're not hauling around TVs and stuff like that, but luggage within reason, maybe for one person or two. Luggage, groceries, regular shopping, good to go. So no complaints on that. So as far as interior, this has probably been the best looking interior I have ever had or owned. Pretty simple, not too much flash outside of the quality of the craftsmanship, the stitching of the leather, the type of leather. It's very heavyweight leather on everything. That's been pretty good. The only disadvantage is probably the beige interior. I mean, you find yourself being very careful and kind of paranoid a little bit with jeans, dark jeans, things of that nature. But outside of that, the interior quality is really good. Now, is it practical for 4 people? Maybe not. 2 adults, 2 maybe smaller kids, I would say under 10 would fit pretty good. We have a 14-year-old daughter and she fits in the back, but we have to make some accommodations in the front. So you may have to have your knees in the dashboard a little bit if you have long legs like myself. But all in all, you can make it work if it's a short trip. We're not traveling across the country in this anyway, so that's not an issue. Oh, ew. Alright, so I'm 5'9", and that's my driving position that's ahead of me, and this is pretty much the space that I have. If you're claustrophobic, this probably is a no-go for you. But if you're not, I mean, like I said, you can go short distances in it. But if you're looking to have 4 grown adults, particularly if they have a little bit of size on them, we're going to have a tough time with this. Now, the dismount, getting out. It's not pretty, guys. It's not pretty. Kind of got to switch on that hip there. Get that good old leg up. Watch your head because you hit it. I hit it every time I get out. And then we get out. So now the $1 million question is probably maintenance, reliability, and cost. I will say that the car is not too bad on gas. Probably I have a skewed view on that because we do have other vehicles and have had vehicles that are premium gas, high performance. So they're going to run through gas anyway. And so we've kind of become used to spending for the premium and having to fill up pretty frequently. So as far as gas, I would say not that bad, but if you're getting this type of car, you already know what you're getting into. A V12, you're not thinking it's going to have mileage like a Toyota Corolla or a Camry or a Honda Accord, so that's not really shouldn't be a question. Alright, so now we're going to get into the maintenance of it. We've had the car 6 months, and let's just say we've had our fair share of things that we have had to fix. So right out the gate, as you saw, we had to do the coilovers, spark plugs, and some of the other things inside the engine. As you saw, it's pretty extensive. I have a little card up here if you haven't seen that video, as well as a link in the description down below, so you can check that out. But it was a pretty extensive task. Not to say it's not uncommon to have to do spark plugs, but with such low miles, it kind of sucked that we had to do them so early. But that's part of owning cars like this. So that was the first thing we had to do. That was about $2,500 because I did it, and you could do it too, like as I showed you in the video. But if it was a dealership, it would have been around $8,100 for that Also, we did the rear brakes, as you saw. I have a link down below to all these things that we did if you haven't seen it already. But the rear brakes we had to do, that was about, I think that was about $400 or $500 because I did it, of course. Dealership, I don't know how much it would have been, maybe about $2 grand. And then we had to do the door harness. That was a little tricky because really didn't know why that happened, but come to find out, the wire, I guess over time, wore out and was starting to short out. Other wires started to get hot and kind of melted other components. As far as the wire, nothing else, no door components, but just the wire and harness itself. So we replaced that. That wasn't that bad actually. That was only $270, I believe. Of course, that's not dealership prices. Dealership, I think, would have been around $1,000, if I'm not mistaken. I think the harness alone was about $600, and labor obviously is going to be the taxing part of the job. So we had three major things. Well, not major, but three things that we had to do to the car that I really didn't foresee having to do so early. Oh, and we replaced the battery. Now the battery might not have needed to be replaced, but the battery was showing signs of inflating because it wasn't properly vented. So some of the gas was building up in the battery and it was swelling up. So although it was still good, it might not have been the best battery, so we went ahead and changed that. But all in all, by doing a lot of the work myself, it wasn't that bad of an expense to maintain the Aston Martin. So one thing I will say is that it's not the easiest to find parts or even to find people that work on the Aston Martin if you wanted to go to the dealership and not do the work yourself. Because some things, let's just face it, we may not be able to do it as DIYers. You may not be able to do it at home because you don't have the proper tools, software, just a lift may not have that. So that's some of the things that just may hinder you from doing it yourself. But if you can, you save a lot of money. If you can't, you may have some trouble finding people to work on it. Then that's going to cost you because you got to take it to the dealership, and then they can charge you whatever, and they probably going to tax you a lot because they're going to just start replacing parts and not really trying to find the real issue. But with all that said, be mindful that you may not be able to just go to any place and find Aston Martin parts, which you probably already know. But that was just something I saw because when we had the Maserati, it wasn't that hard to find parts. But I'll list down below some of the places I went to find my parts. So something else to consider if you're looking into getting a Rapide, the Rapide S specifically, is that it's kind of lacking on technology. Now, although we do have the Rapide S, which is an updated version of the Rapide, it still is lacking a little bit of technology, especially in comparison to like the Porsche Panamera, which has a slew of technology, almost too much technology, but this one is kind of lackluster in the technology department. So now it does have the infotainment screen. It does have CarPlay, which is good. Wired CarPlay, not wireless. It has Bluetooth audio and the phone. So those are all good things. Got built-in navigation. Navigation is a little outdated, which is expected in 2017 car. So you probably find yourself just using the CarPlay for everything, for your music, your navigation, phone, all that stuff. So being that it have CarPlay, that really made it acceptable with the technology. And that's, I think they first introduced the CarPlay in 2017 model. So if you want CarPlay, you got to get a newer one. Aside from that, it doesn't have like massage seats or which, I mean, a lot of cars don't have massage seats. So if you're looking for like a touch screen, a big screen, a little bit more technology as far as sensors or surround camera or a lot of cameras, or the quality of the camera at that. This does have backup camera, but the quality is a little VHSs. So that's a little bit of a disappointment as far as the technology. But like I say, you may not be getting the Aston Martin for the technology anyway. You're getting it for the V12, for the engine, for the experience, for the elegance of it. So if you're not a super tech head or gadget, going crazy with the gadget, you should be okay. So as you can see, the layout and everything is really nice. It has all the essentials of what you need. This is the screen. It does pop up if you put in your key here. So you do have your screen. So you see you have your audio, you have your navigation, you have vehicle status, reverse camera. So if we can see that, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. So it gets the job done. Got your phone. Like I said, you have Apple CarPlay. So with that gives you everything you need. You even have Android Audio if you're an Android user. And the system, you got some things that you can do to modify, like your mirror settings, notifications, SMS, lighting, lock, the screen mechanism. It can remember if you want it up or down when you power off the car. The rear camera, you can have it on or off. One thing I do like here, if I can find it, they have where you can keep the sport mode enabled, because a lot of cars, when you turn off the car, the sport mode is gone. And I can't seem to find it. Alright, can't find it, but it's there. You got your tires, power meter. So that tells you power, your torque, RPM. So if you ever was going to take this to the track, let's go ahead and start her up. So you can see. So as you see there, you got all your RPMs, your torque, brake horsepower. So if you ever were going to track the car, you could use that and have kind of some real-time feedback of how the car is performing. Control on your steering wheel, pretty standard stuff. Dash, pretty standard. You don't have any fancy screens or anything like that. So with that being said, if technology is that important to you, then this may not be the car for you. But if you don't really care about technology, touch screens, a bunch of screens, all that good stuff, then this car for you. So all in all, this is a really nice car. I mean, the Aston Martin brand in itself is prestigious, long lineage of great cars. I think it's something that you have to know what you're getting when you get into it, knowing that it's not going to be that cheap to repair, but it's not over the top. It's not, I wouldn't say, Ferrari, Lamborghini type prices, just not yet. It is doable. You can do a lot of work yourself, even though it's Aston Martin. I mean, the car is a great car. For us, we'll see how it pans out. I think we are looking at other options just because of a few things that my wife wants as far as more technology, maybe a little bit more space too, but I don't know. We will see. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave some comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe hit the like button. That way you can see what we end up doing with the Aston Martin. Keep it, get rid of it, get something else. I don't know, who knows, but stay tuned. We're definitely gonna have more videos for you. So remember, do it until you can't. Until next time, I'm out.